Hi, I'm Darryl, and I like to talk about doing this thing which I call a video response. And this is a video response to Eckhart Tolle and his YouTube little clip he has on there called The Current Economy. The Current Economy. Right, basically people who are familiar with Eckhart Tolle will understand that he is a metaphysician. He speaks in metaphysical terms. That means he believes that there is a invisible world that is moving and directing the affairs on this world. He passes these opinions off as if they were true. So a lot of people are enamored with his teachings because they're nice and they sound very enlightened and noble and gosh, you're such a nice guy. They don't really question his metaphysical starting point or the claims that he makes that he passes off as truth. These people are very dangerous because they may look mild and polite and kind and offer nothing but the best of intentions and philosophical platitudes, but people can be hurt by them in very serious ways if they're not careful. And this clip is a prime example of this problem. Now he begins with a metaphysical explanation on the current economic system. Basically, it is a systemic failure of structure. Sorry, I should say it like this. The economy is a structure that is projected from the human consciousness. So this structure, this economic structure is failing because it's ego-based. Ego must be bad because it's the reason why the structure is failing. It must be a core reason why, it must be the core explanation to the structural failure of capitalism, let's say. And this structural failure corresponds to the structural failure of human consciousness. Now, Eckhart Tolle does not say what these structural flaws are, or how he came to know of them, or how he came to correlate, the problem. On one hand, there's the consciousness that is structurally deficient, and then you have an economic system that's structurally deficient. By golly, they're the same thing. It doesn't tell us how he got to that position, or that opinion, or why we should believe that it's true. So, if he had just left it at that, it would have been fine because, metaphysics deals, that's the equation of metaphysics. The visible world is influenced by an invisible world. And, really there's no difference. You just can see this one thing and you can't see the other thing. But the invisible thing actually has all the power, and the material thing is just a shell that's not real, right? Which is kind of strange when you think about it. What's invisible is real, but what's visible isn't real. Big problem I have with metaphysics is that it sort of does not apply common sense. All right, so he also goes on to say, I was going to say, if he had just stopped at the metaphysical equation of the failure of structure with human consciousness vis-a-vis the economic system, fine, that would have been, sort of makes sense in metaphysical terms. But then he goes on to say that people, don't worry. The media is going to give you scary stories. Do not fall for them. Do not go into fear. Because these calamities and these adversities, all these things are going to test you. They're going to be moving you into a new consciousness. Yes. Before you were sitting in your patio, watching television, and now you're on the streets knocking over gas stations because you don't have any money. You don't have money to buy food or have a place to stay. That would be a big shift in consciousness. No, he didn't say that. He says that this new consciousness state will be achieved by embracing uncertainty. He doesn't give any indication on why this is so. It's a claim he has made, and you have to just go with it. Don't question, just listen and buy the book. Now he says that wasn't enough. He goes on to say that these institutions, these structures of ego-based consciousness, has to collapse. Not because they are ego-driven, as he calls, an intelligence, but there's a higher phenomenon for that is responsible. So really, is this removal of self-responsibility by Eckhart Tolle going to help us take responsibility? If this divine consciousness is breaking down the systems, shall it take the responsibility for us? I see what he's trying to say. He's saying that, don't worry, consciousness, the divine consciousness, the divine mind is removing the social structures that are causing all the problems, and they're removing the economic structures that are causing all the problems. All you have to do is sit down and embrace uncertainty, and everything will be okay. I don't know, it doesn't sound right to me. I mean, it's going to trap people in a really bad place if they fall for this, and they shouldn't. They should look at the common sense of directing yourself through adversity and not just sitting back and letting events take your self-directive principle away, because that could be bad. All right, don't listen to Eckhart Tolle. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he is sitting in a privileged position. He has cars and houses, sweater vests, money. I mean, calamity is not going to touch him, but you know, for you other people, I advise to take action and not just sit by and just embrace uncertainty. Do something. Bye. Talk to you later.